Hi everyone! Today I'd like to present a selection of great starter harps in case you're serious about learning the Celtic harp and you want to buy one, but you don't want to break the bank. What I have here is a selection of 5 mid-sized instruments which have between 26 and 28 strings and which range from 700 up to 2,000 euro. A standard size Celtic harp would have 34 to 36 strings, and it would cost between 2,000 and 3,000 euro if you tap into premium brands. So those here are more affordable, they are smaller, but they have enough strings to get you going with a nice repertoire, and they have the right design and ergonomics to emulate the playing technique you would use on a larger harp. Just to be clear, this video is not about finding the cheapest harps on the market. If you want a really cheap harp to get a feel for the instrument, get an introduction to music, just have fun, there are other options out there. I'm a big fan of this little 15-string AKLOT, for example. It's great for a kid's workshop or to travel around worry-free. However, that kind of instruments don't have great sound volume or great sound quality. Their playing technique doesn't necessarily transfer to larger instruments, and the repertoire is quite limited due to the low string range. So this video is about harps that have a good sound quality, help you develop a good playing technique with potential to upgrade to standard size instruments in the future, and enable a pretty broad playing repertoire. Okay, so let's start with our first harp. This is the Muzikkon 28-string Claddagh harp. It costs under 700 euro. Muzikkon is a harp maker based in Dublin. Their harps are designed and quality checked in Ireland, but the instruments are actually manufactured in Pakistan, which allows them to keep the costs down. It has a nice sound, a robust build, and a beautiful design. You get a lot of strings for your buck, and it's fully levered, which allows you to play in different keys, so you can play more tunes with accidentals. Here is a little sound demo. So for me, this is the best value for money you can find in mid-sized starter harps. You can buy it from the Muzikkon website. You will find the link in the video description. Let's continue with our second harp. So this is the Flatsicle harp. I was using my own homemade stand to hold it. It doesn't come with feet, unlike the rest of the selection I'm showing here. So this is part of the very popular Harpsicle range from Rees Harps in the US. Here in Europe, you can get it for about 900 euro. It would cost about 100 euro cheaper in the US. So the Flatsicle is essentially a harpsicle with a few levers. It has 11 levers on the C, B, and F strings. So it allows you to play in more keys than a harpsicle without levers, but it's cheaper than a fully levered instrument. It is really compact. It weighs under 3 kilograms. Of course, this is great for portability, but the downside for me is that, especially for beginner players, I think it's important to have a a heavy and steady instrument that you don't need to stabilize all the time. If you have to fiddle with a wobbly harp while you're trying to play, it will distract you from developing the right playing technique. So that's the only downside for me. For the rest, it's a good quality instrument. It sounds fine. You can play it with a strap. There are handy strap buttons fitted on the body of the instrument. But I'm going to use a harp stick to stabilize it on my lap. So for me, this is the most compact, most portable design you can find in the mid-sized starter harps. All the instruments you have here are pretty light and portable, but this one is really the lightest and the smallest of all. Here in Europe, you can buy it from the Harpen website in the Netherlands. You will find the link in the video description. Let's move on to our third harp. So this is the Odyssey 27-string harp, fully levered. It is the latest mid-size harp model from French harp maker Camac. It costs a little under 1,500 euro. Camac is one of the most prestigious harp makers in the world, so you can't really go wrong with Camac. This model is replacing the previous Bardic harp from Camac, which I absolutely loved. So I was a little upset when I heard they were discontinuing the Bardic to replace it with this one. But now that I've tried the Odyssey, I have to say it's a significant upgrade, so I've changed my mind about it. Initially, what I didn't like about this harp was its visual appearance. I added those wall stickers to pimp it up a bit. But I thought the soundboard was a little bulky with a weird shape. Overall, the instrument doesn't look very elegant, I think. But when you hear it play, then you forgive that design completely because the sound projection is amazing. This harp has way more volume than its predecessor, the Bardic, and way more volume than any of the harps you see here lined up. So this weird shape is technically justified. It has a reason to be. So for me, this is the most powerful harp you can find in the mid-sized starter harps, with the best projection and volume. You can buy this harp from any Camac retailer in the world. You will find the link in the video description. Let's have a look at our fourth harp. So this is the Juno 27-string harp, fully levered. It is the mid-sized harp model from Italian harp maker Salvi. Like Camac, Salvi is one of our top harp makers in the world, so you can't really have bad surprises with this brand. This harp costs about 1,700 euro. It's really like a mini version of the larger sized Salvi harps. So great introduction to the Salvi harp playing experience. Very elegant design, the quality you expect from a Salvi harp. For me, this is the most classical, most standard quality starter harp you can find in the mid-sized starter range. You can buy this harp from any Salvi retailer in the world. You will find the link in the video description. And let's finish with our fifth harp. So this is the Ravenna 26 harp, fully levered. It is the entry-level harp for dusty strings in the US. Here in Europe, you can get it for about 2,000 euro. I think it would be close to half that price if you bought it in the US without all the import taxes. The soundbox is made of laminated wood as opposed to solid wood, which makes it lighter and cheaper than other dusty string models. But to my surprise, this doesn't make the harp sound cheap at all. I have to say this is actually my favorite of all 5 harps here, because there is something so unique about the sound quality that really speaks to my heart. So for me, this harp has the most beautiful sound you can find in the mid-sized starter harps. Here in Europe, you can buy it from Artifact Musik in Germany. You will find the link in the video description. all 5 harps you have here have standard string spacing and string tension, which is important as you develop your harp technique. All of them are available in a number of cool shades you can choose from. They're great for starters. They're also good for children, given their size. And they're particularly popular for therapy because they're so portable with a great full sound. All in all, I think all 5 instruments are great. They have their specificities, they have their pros and cons. So depending on your budget, what you're looking for, what you're aiming at, I think you'll be happy with any of those 5. So I hope you found this video useful. I added a few links in the video description for more sound samples. Should you have any question, as always, please feel free to ask in the comments. Thanks for watching.